She was 12 years old, barefoot, and standing on a mountain of garbage when her life quietly began to change. The smell of rot clung to her clothes, and flies circled like they owned the air. People passed the dump every day, but no one ever really looked inside it. No one ever looked at her. Until that morning. Until she saw a man lying still between broken plastic and rusted metal. Until she realized he was breathing. Barely. Her name was Aisha. She didn't speak much, not because she couldn't, but because the world had taught her that silence was safer. Words didn't bring food. Words didn't stop hunger. Words didn't protect you when adults shouted, or when hands pushed you aside like trash. Every morning before sunrise, Aisha walked to the dump with a torn sack over her shoulder. She searched for anything sellable. Plastic bottles, scraps of metal, sometimes half-burned wires. On good days, she earned enough for bread. On bad days, she went to sleep with water and hope, pretending it was food. Her mother had died 2 years earlier. Her father was a memory she barely trusted. An uncle had taken her in, then taken everything else from her. By the time she ran away, she already knew what it meant to be invisible. That morning felt colder than usual. The sky was pale gray, like it hadn't decided whether to care. Aisha stepped carefully over glass and broken tiles, her eyes trained low. Then she saw a hand. Not trash, not plastic, a human hand. She froze. The man was lying on his side, suit torn, face bruised, lips cracked. He didn't look poor, even broken. He carried something heavy around him. Power, maybe, or authority. She didn't know the word, but she felt it. Most people would have run. Some would have taken his watch. Aisha did neither. She knelt beside him. Quietly, she placed 2 fingers on his neck, the way she once saw a nurse do. There was a pulse. Weak, but there. She searched the dump and found a half-full bottle of water. She poured a little into his mouth. Slowly, carefully. Her hands shook, but her face stayed calm. The man's eyes opened just a little. They were sharp, even through pain. He tried to speak. Nothing came out. Aisha didn't ask questions. She didn't wait for thanks. She did what she could, then sat nearby, guarding him like a secret. Hours passed. The sun climbed. The smell worsened. People came and went. No one stopped. Finally, a garbage truck approached. Aisha panicked. She ran toward it, waving her arms. The driver shouted at her, cursed her, told her to move. She stood her ground. "There's a man," she said softly. Her voice barely reached him. The driver cursed again, but looked, then froze. An ambulance came. Police followed. Questions were asked. Aisha answered only what was necessary. She didn't give her name. She slipped away before anyone could stop her. She thought that was the end of it. She was wrong. The man's name was Ryan Malik, one of the most powerful businessmen in the city. A millionaire with enemies dressed as friends. The night before, he had been beaten and dumped like waste after refusing to sign something. Something illegal, something dangerous. When Ryan woke up in the hospital, the first thing he asked was about the girl. The quiet one, the one with tired eyes. No one knew who she was. Days passed. Aisha returned to the dump. Life didn't change just because you helped someone. Hunger didn't disappear. Pain didn't soften. Then one afternoon, black cars arrived. Men in suits stepped out. People gathered. Fear spread fast in places like that. Aisha tried to leave. A hand gently stopped her. "Are you the girl?" a man asked, "who found Mr. Malik?" She nodded. She was taken to a building so tall she felt dizzy looking up. Her clothes were washed. Her hair was combed. She sat in a quiet room with clean walls and soft chairs. Ryan Malik walked in slowly, supported by a cane. He looked different, weaker, but his eyes were the same. He stared at her for a long moment. Then he sat down. "You saved my life," he said. Aisha didn't answer. "You didn't take my wallet," he continued. "You didn't run. You stayed." She looked at the floor. "Why?" he asked. She thought for a second. Then said, "Because you were breathing." That was all. Ryan smiled for the first time in weeks. He offered to help her. Education, a home, protection. Aisha listened. She didn't beg. She didn't cry. She simply said, "I don't want to go back." That was enough. But power attracts darkness. Ryan had enemies, men who didn't like debts being remembered. One of them was Kareem Ashraf. Rich, influential, untouchable, according to himself. Kareem had ordered the attack, and when he learned that a garbage girl had saved Ryan, he laughed. "She'll disappear," he said. Like the rest, things began to happen. Aisha's school was suddenly threatened with closure. The caretaker of her shelter was bribed. People whispered that she was lying, that she was being used. Aisha stayed quiet. She studied. She listened. She waited. Ryan watched, and remembered. Months passed. The case against Kareem went to court. Witnesses vanished. Evidence burned. Money flowed like water. Everyone expected Ryan to lose. On the final day, Kareem walked in smiling. Confident, arrogant. Then Ryan asked for one last witness. Aisha stood. The courtroom laughed at first. A child, from a dump. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't accuse. She simply told the truth. Every detail, every sound, every face. She described the men, the car, the ring on Kareem's finger. The words spoken before Ryan was thrown away. Silence filled the room. Then Ryan played a recording. A wiretap. Kareem's voice. Clear, careless. The smile faded. Justice didn't rush. It arrived slowly, but it arrived. Kareem was arrested. Assets frozen. Power stripped. Aisha didn't celebrate. She went back to school the next day. Years later, she would stand on a stage. Not as a victim, not as a charity case, but as a woman who remembered where she came from, and never forgot the value of a single, quiet act of kindness. All because one day, a poor girl looked into a garbage dump, and saw a human being.